I love my bell. Welcome, Rotarians and friends, to the 5,407th meeting of our Rotary Club. It's great to see you all today, and especially our Red Badgers. So nice to have you. I'd like to first just publicly thank one of our visiting guests, Amit, for this beautiful shawl. We're so pleased that you're with us today, and I look forward to you getting to know more about our club. Nice to have you. And now let's sing Nicholas Adams.
Thank you, Madam President. Would you please all stand and join in God Bless America? Good afternoon to everyone. Yes, past President Fernando's in good voice. Yeah. I hope you'll all join Fernando in singing God Bless America today. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you all very much for that.
That never fails to give me goosebumps. And a special thank you to our greeting line today, the International Committee, which is chaired by Tim and Sandra Gill and Alfreda Egan. We're really loving all of your beautiful attire and how you're representing so many cultures. Nicely done. And we've got 3 birthdays today. Tudo, David Ginsburg, and Gary Crimmin on this very day. So please wish them a warm, happy birthday if you see them. And then, of course, we changed the slide just slightly to show the birthdays between September 7th and 20th, so everybody feels like they're honored. Now, our Rotarians with traveling mics, may I please ask that you stand and introduce yourself? Steve Preminger.
I am Steve Preminger. I work for the County of Santa Clara, and I'm sponsored by Rod Iridon.
Welcome to the Rod Squad. And Nicole? Oh, there you are.
I'm Nicole Leckler. I'm the Director of Membership at the Silicon Valley Capital Club, and my sponsor is Ron Drake.
Nice to have you today. And one Rotary family update. Heather Lerner, our president-elect, is recovering from surgery. We have a Get Well card circulating in this room and also one on the table outside. Please be sure to sign it so she knows we're thinking of her and sending well wishes. All right, guest introductions. If you're a visiting Rotarian or have a guest, please stand to be introduced. Pat Sherry, stand up. So I am so excited to introduce you all to my chosen family, my mentor, and quite truly my very best friend, Dr. Patrick Sherry. You all heard about him during my personal, because that's the guy that got me into transportation and started my career in this great sector. Pat, I'm so glad you're here. Yes.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Belansky-Fair, and I brought my dear friend Heather LaFrance to join us today. I thought she would like the topic. She's also a fellow real estate agent.
Welcome. Yes.
Hi, I'm Carrie Benjamin, and I brought Lauren Karlinski, the Director of Admissions at Yavna Day School.
Oh, wonderful. Bonnie.
President Karen, Bonnie Bamberg, Historic Preservation. My sponsor, who I never get to say, was Jim D'Amico, and that was many years ago. And I'm very delighted to introduce Dr. Erica Baumann, who is the Director of the Ira Brilliant Center for the Study of Beethoven. Right across the street in the Martin Luther King Library.
Well, very good, and happy 20th anniversary to the library.
Yeah.
Tremendous public-private partnership success.
Hi, President Karen.
Hi.
Michelle Loxon, Boys and Girls Clubs of Silicon Valley. My guest today is Christy Cole. Christy is our Director of Development. She leads our corporate engagement strategy, our volunteer initiative, our Youth of the Year Gala, as well as our sold-out golf tournament.
So lots of spare time. Welcome. Yes.
Yeah, hi, President Karen. Kirk Wallachevich, CPA, and my guest today is my mother, Lynn Jepson, who's a Rotarian in Woodland, California.
We love family. Welcome.
President Karen, Larry Kiekler, CPA, currently failing retirement. My guest today for a second time is Yuri Lavore. He's with Edward Jones and is opening a new office for them at Santana Row.
Well, welcome, and since it's your second meeting, you're eligible to become a member, so think about it.
President Karen.
Yes.
My name is Ini Ubo. My husband here is Dr. Okun Achibong Ubo.
Nice to have you.
Myself, Amit Kumar Ghosh. Our club is Rotary Club of Asansol. It is an 84 years old, 1938, and I'm become the president 2021. And my daughter stayed and was from San Jose University. I came from India to visit here. Nice to meet all of you, and nice to meet President especially.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
From
you.
India, yes. I'm from India, West Bengal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you again for the beautiful shawl. I will wear it with love. Finally?
Hello, this is Amar, and I'm not a member of Rotary Club, but I wanted to introduce my father, who is a visiting Rotarian from India. And he has already been visited to Niles Rotary Club in Fremont, and we also got to know that I spoke to Leslie about the same and just thought of visiting and having introduced to him to the Rotary Club here. So his name is Annappa Bhadrashetty. He is visiting from India Rotary Club in state of Karnataka and city of Gulbarga.
Wonderful. Thank you so kindly. All right. Next up is Matt Bell to give us a membership update. Oops,
Thank you, President Karen. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. A pleasure to be here as always. Giving you the monthly update on our membership recruitment efforts. So, as you can see, we've got a stretch goal of 55 new members for the year. And thus far, we have 6 new members. This past month, 2 new members. I want to thank, as always, Rod Dearden for his sponsorship of Bien Don, and Helen Lambert for sponsoring Blake Ward. So, you know, 6, this is a good number, but actually, I think a little bit off the pace from last year, and would love to just take this opportunity to remind you all about the importance of talking about Rotary, and sorry for this mic here. And thinking about new members all the time. Recently, we were having a discussion in the membership committee, and we realized we have some incredible content and incredible tools on the website for recruitment. If you just go to, if you haven't been there in a while, by the way, go check it out. The data and all the things and our accomplishments and all the information that's there, it just makes you really proud to be a part of this club. But it's a great tool to send people there. They can see what it's all about. We have a brochure that's downloadable as a PDF that you can shoot to someone. So if you're thinking about someone who might be interested in Rotary, send them a note, include the brochure, and just say, hey, have you ever thought about Rotary? You know, check it out and let me know if you want to chat. Very informal, very soft, and not a big pitch. That could be a really good way to go about it. We're working on this list of about 250 prospects of this list, as we're calling, is it why aren't they in Rotary? And again, asking you to be thinking about that when you meet people or people that you know, why aren't they in Rotary? And let's ask them why they're not and see if they're interested. So if you have any leads that you just want to pass on, you can see my info is here. So please do that. This is just, I got a little ahead here. This is the stuff that's on the website, the brochure. There's a great video as well. So again, if you haven't been there, it's great. I'm hurry going along. Here are the members of the committee. If you're here, please stand up or wave. Let's a round of applause for everybody on the committee. Thank you.
Great job as always. Thank you so much. Kirk, start making your way up, please. And if you are seeing Rotarians that haven't been at a Wednesday lunch in quite some time, please warmly greet them and let them know how happy we are that they're back. They are the lifeblood of this club. And now it's a very exciting time because we have a new member introduction. And President-elect Heather Lerner is going to be joining us through Zoom to introduce Kirk Wallachevich.
Hi, thanks, Karen. It is an honor to introduce Rotary's newest member today. I had the great pleasure of working with Kirk while leading Happy Hollow Foundation, where he served as our treasurer, where we led many exhibit renovations, added attractions, and established high-profile events. Now, this would have been a huge job for a paid staffer, but he gladly volunteered his talents for community benefit. And no matter if things were challenging or ecstatically celebratory, which it oftentimes were, Kirk's reliable response was to leave a pink sprinkled donut on my desk. I know he'll be an amazing Rotarian, just like his mom, Lynn, who's here with us today. Kirk, tell us more about you.
Come on up, Kirk.
Thanks, everyone. I'm truly proud to be a Rotarian, and a lot of that goes through the people that I've met in my life. I started work right out of San Jose State, go Spartans, at Johansson and Yao, and that firm had a very strong commitment to the community. So I thank Dave Davis and Fred Leonard, who are also members of this club. They led me to join San Jose Leadership. I was class of 2005, best class ever. Although Rick Holden said we really weren't. But Sarju Naran and Kathy Kimball, who were members of this club, were also in that same class. And that led me to meeting Heather, and I joined the board for Happy Hollow Foundation. I was on the board for the San Jose Leadership Alumni Club, and I met so many great people that are in this club, and it's been a true honor. Although for Rotary, my mom is an inspiration. She's been a longtime Rotarian, 20 plus years, and she a couple years ago won the Service Over Self Award, which is the only award to 150 Rotarians per year in the entire world. So that's a pretty big honor, and and I'm so excited to be a Red Badger. My friends Emily and Kelly encouraged me to join. I was always going to join, but they encouraged me to join, and I really appreciate it and looking forward to great things.
You're already doing great things. That's the best part. Kirk's already involved. All right. Welcome. Give me a hug.
Thank you.
Welcome. So proud of you.
Picture will be good.
I don't know. I think right there. He's right there. And go, Mom. That's an incredible honor and a tremendous achievement. Congratulations on that award. You're among a distinct few. And we love Kirk. He's already so involved and such a great member, so thank you. And now for people getting their blue badge today, please start making your way up. We will be having 4 people who've been with us a year showing their commitment, their dedication, and their community spirit. And so we get to give them their blue badges today. Come on up. We have Mitch Fulton, Josh Grossworth, Sharad Gupta, and Robert Macy. This is exciting. Oh, Sharad's not with us today. Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness. Congratulations. Rose for a quick picture. I'm getting the hang of the pictures here. Thank you. Welcome, guys. We look forward to watching you do more great things. And now we have a committee update on our international activities. Please join me up here, Tim Gill and Inu Ubo. We are very thrilled to hear what you have to say.
Good afternoon, everybody. In case you're wondering, this is what they call traditional Nigerian evening wear. So I got the blessing from Ini Ubo to wear this along with the rest of our committee. So I'm here to pitch one of our most significant events of the Rotary year, and that's the International Feast. It's going to be on October 6th. We're going to have professional Nigerian dancers. We're not just going to have Nigerian food, but we're going to have food from all over the world, desserts, beer. We have raffle prizes. Last year, every single person that attended got a raffle prize. And we have Sharks tickets, movie tickets, dinner passes. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to have traditional Nigerian music. And here's Ini Ubo. Well, actually, one of the reasons for this event is it's a fundraiser for one of our projects this year. And this year, we want to support Ini Ubo's, and she's going to tell you all about it right now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to share because I have only 1 minute. Let me show you the pictures. And that's the health center, the current situation of that health center. And that community is about 3,000 people. The transportation there is only bicycle, motorcycle, and they had to walk about 10 miles, over 10 miles to another place. So the reason that I'm coming up today is about the plan to raise funds. And I need your support, please, to raise funds to renovate the community, the health center there. And the objective for this will be to give them access to general health care. Women health care will also be improved. There will be access to basic maternal health with the inclusion with the prenatal care, labor and delivery, postpartum care, mother and baby education, and family planning. The renovation will help this particular community to improve or contribute to reducing neonatal mortality. This project would contribute to the effort to end epidemics such as AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, other tropical disease, hepatitis, and waterborne disease by 2030. And we go to the second page. We partner with other nonprofit organizations in Nigeria because of the maintenance of this project. We need other people to help after the completion of the renovation. So those are other agencies that we partner with in Nigeria to help us maintain the project. Thank you. Please, if you have any question, meet me at the end of the meeting over there. I only give 1 minute. Do I behave?
You were 20 seconds off. You were good. Very, very well behaved. Thank you for that exciting project update. And now we've got one more really terrific update from Shashir Doctor.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Karen. I'm pleased to announce that we're going to be having a rotoplast mission to Bangladesh coming up next year. We have had several such missions in the past to Venezuela, Cumana, to Mexico, and also to India, and this would be another one for next year. The project, the mission is being funded by the Rotoplast International and also Chevron and our club. The funding is completely, the mission is completely funded, and I'd like to show you some pictures of past visits that we have and what work we do. Which one? We go to these places. We operate on for cleft palates and cleft lips on young kids and adults in these backward countries like India, Bangladesh, Mexico. This is a hereditary problem for the kids. There's no solution, and their looks are really puts them in a bad place to be able to be integrated into the community. This is a picture of a Rotarian who's taking care of a person who has been operated on in the post-operating room, recovery room. Surgeons are performing the operation on the cleft palates of a young kid. This is the result of before and after. What happens to a child? Emmanuel was arrived at the clinic. They drove, him and his parents drove about 11 hours from the mountains to this clinic to get this operation done. It's a life-changing procedure, before and after. This again is what a cleft palate looks like. This child would have a very good future because of being taken care of, the cleft palate being taken care of by the surgeons. It changes lives. We have 7 openings to go to Bangladesh. The mission is slated to be from January 20th to February 3rd. The airfare is estimated to be $1,800 to $2,000. Hotel and food is being paid off by the local Rotary clubs. If you need more information, please contact me or Jaime Chavez. Thank you.
Beautiful. That is so... That is one of the major activities that make me such a proud member of this club, and it never fails to choke me up. That dedication, that service, that changes lives. And a gentle reminder that our own Dr. Emily Robin has been formally announced as a Rotoplast medical volunteer. So we're looking forward to our club continuing to do great things there. And one reminder about the international feast that Tim discussed. There's a flyer on the table. $50 is tax deductible of the $65 cost, and you are more than welcome to make a donation even if you can't be physically present. We would love that. And now, my master of mirth. Come on up, Brian. This is my favorite part.
Thank you. Thank you for that squatting ovation. Happy Mirth Day. Happy Mirth Day. Let's hear it. Happy Mirth Day. Okay. So listen, embracing the theme of We Are Family. I know a lot of families for the past few weeks have been in back to school mode. Yes? Some of you in the room even, right? All right, so indulge me, and I'm going to recruit our wonderful president to help out here. A little role playing. If you would play the role of the teacher, please. These are a few goodies that I found. Apparently, my algorithm on Facebook indicates I need some help in the humor department. And so this is from a little group, I think it's called Laughs and Giggles. So you're the teacher, if you can read that part, and I'll be the student. All right, here we go.
How old is your father?
He is 6 years.
What? How is that possible?
He became father only when I was born.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Maria, go to the map and find North America.
Here it is.
Correct. Now, class, who discovered America?
Maria.
That's also a good one. Glenn, how do you spell crocodile?
K-R-O-K-O-D-I-A-L.
No, that's wrong.
Maybe it's wrong, but you asked me how I spell it.
Donald, what is the chemical formula for water?
H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O.
What are you talking about?
Well, yesterday you said it's H2O.
Oh, that is so clever. Clyde, your composition on my dog is exactly the same as your brother's. Did you copy his?
No, ma'am. It's the same dog. And our last one.
Harold, what do you call a person who keeps on talking when people are no longer interested?
A teacher. Ooh. Thank you. Happy birthday.
That was good. I love that. So just a couple of president announcements, and thank you so much for that fun time, Brian. And Mike Fulton, congratulations on your son getting his blue badge today. It's all in the family, like we like to say. All right. So don't forget that we have the Rotary Play Garden Family Fun Picnic on Thursday the 28th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. As a reminder, there will be cold box lunches that you can purchase. There are also brief welcome remarks at approximately 5:15 and an on-site fair and basically fun for all. If you haven't been there, it's a tremendous experience. And don't forget, that was our 100-year project. So we are responsible for the impact for that in the community. Also, Avenues of Service on September 30th from 9 to 1:30 p.m. at West Valley Community College poses an opportunity for you to learn more. And I'm guessing that many of you might not know what our 7 avenues of service are, and those are the global initiatives that all 46,000 clubs in the world aspire to. And that's promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, saving mothers and children, supporting education, growing local economies, and protecting the environment. So very worthwhile. Our own Matt Robin will be the MC, and we will have a table there for our Climate Action Committee. So if you can join, the cost is $35, and a reminder that's September 30th. Then we also will have the Lee Weimers Award Ceremony on October 18th. This is an incredible program. It is held off-site, so it's going to be at the Hammer Theater. In a couple of weeks, we will have committee members in the lobby to help you sign up. You must RSVP for this particular event. And this is a program created in honor and in memory of the iconic Mercury News reporter who did so much to publicize and support the arts in the Silicon Valley. It's always a really moving experience, and the artists are simply incredible. The barbecue was a great success, as always, a tremendous amount of fun. I'd like to thank our executive chefs for showing up early, cooking the delicious food, and taking such good care of us. Yes, that deserves a round of applause. And that is chaired by Rick Alpers, Sam Wool, and Jim Nielsen. Very excited about that. And then finally, I'd like to give a shout out to a very special committee, and that is the Meeting Summary Committee, chaired by Karen Sununu Towery. They are the people responsible for writing the summaries that we have in the Friday Bulletin. So even if you couldn't participate in person or on Zoom, you feel like you were there and you know what's happening. Thank you so much. That takes tremendous dedication. So very grateful for that. And now, yes, applause are wonderful. All right, come on up, Steve Ellenberg, and please introduce our speaker for today.
Thanks for that great applause. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always the guy that introduces the speaker gets nothing. What a world we live in. Even Rotarians, and especially lawyers, have stress in our lives, and we have just the speaker to address these issues. Dr. Adam Dorsay is a licensed psychologist and certified executive coach, specializing in assisting high-achieving adults, including professionals, executives, entrepreneurs, and professional athletes with relationship issues, stress reduction, anxiety, and attaining more happiness in their lives. Adam's skill set goes beyond working with individuals. He also works with large employers, including Facebook, to create and facilitate resiliency programs to help employees feel happier at work. Adam is also a frequent speaker on a wide variety of subjects in his field, and better than that, he is the host of a widely listened to podcast called Super Psyched, which was nominated for a Share Care Podcast Emmy this year. The decision's coming in October, where he discusses a wide variety of topics and has interviewed guests such as Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr, and most recently talked, and this was his most recent podcast, talked with Smash Mouth guitarist Greg Camp about the loss of his friend, lead singer Steve Harwell. So if you want to listen to something really meaningful, I highly recommend it. Adam himself was a drummer in a rock and roll band where he earned the nickname Enthusiadam, which has stuck with him. Since we are a dignified crew here, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Adam Dorsay.
It's such a pleasure to be among you today, and I will be presenting rather quickly some good research that you're going to be able to take home, share with your family, your friends, and implement into your lives that is actually research-based and will pass the four-way test, and I hope to make my case, counsel. So, without further ado, this is me, blah, blah, and we're going to cover a lot here. Why and the what and the how of happiness. The brain bugs that may interfere with our happiness, scientifically validated and happy practices that will actually make you happy and boost your performance in a host of areas that you care about, whether it's in your personal or professional lives. Let's start off with a good definition from Dr. Sonia Lyubomirsky, fun to say. She's at UC Riverside, a self-described depressive and pessimist, as many people who are in my field actually describe themselves to be, and she herself takes her own medicine. But I love this definition, the experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being combined with a sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile. I think we can all pretty much agree with that very erudite description. But if you don't like the word happy, some people don't like the word happy and actually take issue with it, feel free to substitute it with the word content, fulfilled, vital, flourishing, a general sense of well-being. It's all fine. These are all reasonably good targets to go for. So many of you have seen these things on TikTok, these little shorts and short videos on YouTube, and so maybe you know about this, maybe you've read some of the books. Maybe you've even tried to integrate some of these practices into your life. Maybe you think, I already know this stuff. Well, I'm going to ask you, if you know it, how much are you actually doing it? There's often a chasm between what we know and what we actually do. Yes, I know that, but I don't actually do it. Rate yourself between 1 and 10. Am I getting a 7, 8, or a 9, or am I getting more of a 3 or a 2 in terms of implementing it? So I'm going to ask you to try to do 1 or 2 things today. Just take 1 or 2 things out of this that I'm going to offer you. Now, in terms of forming a basis for why this exists, our brains are amazing. They're the most complex thing that we know of in the known universe. And yet, they are not designed for our happiness. They were created for our survival. They were created to be efficient. That has nothing to do with happiness whatsoever. And guess what? We're coming out with the iPhone 15. In the last 15 years, 16 years, we've had 15 different iPhones. In the last 35,000 to 100,000 years, depending on our estimations, we've had the same brain, except for the fact that our environment has changed quite a bit. And so we have these old brains, and they are meant for survival and energy conservation, which is tantamount to saying we've got some bugs in our brains. They are functioning as they should, but maybe not for modern times. The first of which is, we can thank our ancestors for what's called the negativity bias. It's a lot safer for our brains to imagine something will kill us. Wow, what's that little cough I've got going on? I'm going to look on WebMD. Oh, I'm dying. No, you got a cold. I mean, nobody in this room has ever done this. I'm sure it's only me, the lone hypochondriac in the room. But the negativity bias is responsible for this fact. It also overrides our happiness. It's not something that our ancestors did, would sit around, hey, caveman, what are you grateful for? That's a conversation that literally never happened. They needed to think about, like, who's going to kill us, and how do we get enough food, and how do we procreate to make sure that the next generation survives. Let's talk about more modern issues and how this is relevant. We have this thing called easy stuff. We have about 200 cognitive biases. We go for the easy. And I don't know about you, but Saturday rolls around, I'm off, and I sit in front of my Roku device, and I stream some Netflix, fold some laundry, look on social media, I'm receiving a text, I'm making some coffee, I'm petting my dog. Anybody in this room ever do something like that? Doing a whole bunch of everything and nothing at the same time? And we're still, when we look on social media, we experience FOMO, we experience social comparison. The best way for me to feel crappy about the awesomeness of my life is for me to roll up in my brand new Hyundai SUV and my next door neighbor rolls up in a McLaren. I think, oh, damn, my Hyundai SUV is just not quite as sexy as I'd hoped. Social comparison is another great way. FOMO, we see people projecting these images of, oh, I'm living my best life at Disneyland. What we didn't know is that they were fighting the entire time. So we invest our time poorly during our off hours. Then on Monday rolls around, guess what happens? We are not rejuvenated. These are what I could refer to as non-rejuvenating rabbit holes. So just be aware of them. You got to name it to tame it. Self-talk. We engage in thousands of thoughts every day. Wow, aren't we brilliant? Except for the fact that most of the thoughts we have today are pretty much the same dumb thoughts we had yesterday. Worse still, we lionize being negative about ourselves. I lose my keys. My first thought is, how could I be such an idiot? Great Google search. So I go through the Google search in my brain, how could I be such an idiot? Oh, you remember that time in second grade when you kind of forgot that you needed to go to the bathroom or something like that? Who knows? We can go through a long list of our blooper reel and ask ourselves, how could we be such an idiot? That Google search in our brain will only make us feel crappy and will not help us find our keys. Better questions are, where did I see them last? Who else can I ask? Can I retrace my footsteps? These are better Google searches. Just notice your Google searches. All right, we in this room, I'm going to posit 90+% of us are well paid to look for problems during the day. There's a small problem with looking for problems. It's good that we're looking for problems. We need to. Problems are bad. But when we come home after looking for problems all day, it's as if our soundtrack is It's a Small World. Anybody ever waited in line at I'm sorry for putting that earworm in your head, but what are you thinking about right now? Yeah, exactly. Sorry, so sorry. I hope you get to sleep tonight. But that notwithstanding, when we look for problems all day, what do we do when we go home? We don't say, so great to see y'all. We think, oh, what's wrong with home? What's wrong with Junior? What's wrong with my wife? Oh, my dog sucks. Whatever it is, we're still looking for problems. We need to change that soundtrack. The fancy term for that is a cognitive after image. Any of you ever played Tetris and you still were walking through Tetris after playing Tetris? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Dan Gilbert out of Harvard University is one of the best scientists today, and he describes the human species as being different from other mammals in that we are able to imagine a future. The only problem with that fact is we are very poor estimators of what will make us happy. I'm sure nobody in this room has ever thought, when I go on this vacation, I'll be happy. When I buy this car, I'll be happy. When I get that promotion, I will be happy. Yeah, the happiness lasts for about 10 minutes, 10 hours, maybe 10 days, but then we pretty much go back to baseline. Yeah? Yeah? Huh? Okay, so how can we actually engage in a system override with all of these bugs? Well, before we go there, I'm going to tell you some good news. We can teach old dogs new tricks. My father is 84 years old. He is constantly learning new things. I just heard an interview with Dr. Ruth. Y'all remember her? She was amazing. She refuses to settle. She's learning new things every week. She goes for what is called in the Jewish religion Shabbat dinner every Friday night to her friend's house, and she says, I will come to you with something new this week because I'm learning something new. She's 95. Our brains are plastic. Neurogenesis is possible. Keep using it. You don't use it, you lose it. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Okay, why should happiness be a goal? This sounds like a stupid question, but sometimes happiness does get a bad rap. I mean, come on, happy and stupid, we know about this. Turns out, happy and stupid is not exactly true. Happy and smart is actually truer still. We actually have objective measures to show that happier people tend to perform better on intelligence tests. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm getting sold so far. Greater success at work, not surprisingly. You're going to be more likely to be promoted. You're more likely to be liked by your colleagues if you're happier. And, very interesting to note, doctors, for example, will make more accurate diagnoses when they are happier. Interesting. Better relationships, no shocker. More likely to be married, more likely to be happy in marriage, more likely to sustain friendships. Physical well-being, and by the way, Rotary Club is just like so important for positive psychology. It's really a virtuous cycle. You come here, you get more happy, you give more happy, it keeps sustaining, you're more likely to go home. So just the fact that you're here really is already an exercise in positive psychology. Physical well-being, we also know that recovery time is much quicker amongst those who are happier and that immune systems are stronger. Improved well-being, shocker of shockers, depression is lower, anxiety is lower, trauma symptoms are much lower amongst those who have what's called post-traumatic growth. So mental well-being is definitely a thing. So in order to avoid the stigma of happy, this fuzzy thing that just 23 years ago, for every 100 research articles on depression, there was only one on happiness. No one was willing to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But to override that stigma, the happiness researchers have gone to the other side of the field. It has become the most rigorously researched arm in psychology. And people like Martin Seligman, Dan Gilbert out of U of Penn, U of Hart, I mean, look at these names. I mean, this is really, really cool. Download their books on Audible. You will find their stuff fascinating. All right, let's talk about the findings and how to apply this. Here's the interesting fact, the good news and the bad news. Happiness is 50% attributable to our genetic baseline. We are either born on the happier side of the bed, think Ted Lasso, or the grumpier side of the bed, think Larry David or Roy Kent. We all know these guys. So that's the so-called bad news. But the good news is it's rather counterintuitive, but only 10% of our happiness is attributable to our circumstances in life. 40%, though, 40% of this pie is attributable to our intentional efforts. We can actually attempt to grow them. So these next exercises are some of them. Shocker of shockers, I roll here. For some of you, gratitude actually works. It's not a new agey concept. We actually have seen brain imaging studies to show that we fortify certain parts of our brain, namely that very expensive real estate called the prefrontal cortex, get stronger. Functional MRIs show this the more gratitude we practice. The question is how to practice gratitude well. Fortunately, super easy. Keep a gratitude journal, or as you're drifting off into La La Land at sleep tonight, do what I'm about to show you. First of all, do not be an automaton. Okay, Adam said to do this. I'm grateful for my family, for my health, and for my job. Okay, I did it. No, that's not going to work. No automatons. Instead, what you want to do is say what you're grateful for, why you're grateful for it, and ideally, for extra credit on the test, is to try to feel it somewhere in your body. So, okay, that former, I'm grateful for my family. Well, I'm grateful for my family because I love them and they love me and they give me a reason to work hard and I want to take care of them and maybe send my kid to college and they cheer for me and I cheer for them. There's just a really beautiful bidirectional virtuous cycle that occurs in this home. And as I enter the why, I actually feel something in my chest. I feel a warmth. And if you're able to feel that, bingo. If you're not, no problem. Just name the why. Fake it till you make it, folks, because some of you may find this actually difficult to do. But don't do it. There's actually research to show if you are rolling your eyes in doing these gratitude exercises, fortunately, there's something for you. Instead, you can go in the back way. You can think about all the things that could have been wrong. Well, you know, I could have gotten into an accident on the way over here, but I made it and I parked and I'm sitting here at Rotary Club. This is pretty cool. Believe it or not, that alone is a way of feeling grateful and overriding the negativity bias, that brain that our ancestors gave us that is so good for our survival, but not so good for our thrival. Think of 3 good things just for 2 weeks. Do this experiment. Think of 3 things that went well. I'm going to ask you we're going to take just 10 seconds. I'm just going to ask you to think of something that went well today. Just something that went well. Cool. Just thought of one thing, and I just thought of Brian getting up here telling jokes and reducing my cortisol levels before I came up, making me a little bit less butterfly-y. But here's how the exercise works. I'm going to ask you to all write down this satisfaction with life scale. It is the easiest thing you will ever do. Ed Diener of Champaign, University of Illinois at Champaign, came up with this idea. The satisfaction with life scale has been validated, and it is free for non-commercial use. Very easy to fill out. It will take you under a minute to establish a baseline of where you are today. So take the satisfaction with life scale. For 2 weeks, write down 3 things that went well today and why. That's my little add-on, but you don't actually have to do that, but I would. And then 2 weeks later, just take it again. No shocker, the vast majority of you will have improved scores over just 2 weeks. But here is the weird thing. The studies have also found an artifact. The significant others of the people actually doing this exercise were happier as well, even if they weren't doing it, just by virtue of the fact that happiness is viral. It finds its way around the home. Feelings, not just COVID, are contagious. Gratitude letter. Okay, I'm gonna actually put my money where my mouth is. The first person who sends me an email and tells me, all you need to do is tell me you actually did this. Nobody has ever done this. No one has ever taken me up on this. You will be the first. The first person who actually says, I wrote a gratitude letter, I'm not even gonna ask you the details, gets a free space pen. I'm obsessed with the space pen. I don't know if any of you are Seinfeld fans. Jerry, keep the pen. Okay, I love this space pen. This is what I use for everything, and this is always my gift. This is my go-to gift. You get a free space pen if you send me an email saying you did this. Here's how it works. Call to mind somebody who has measurably changed your life. It can't be someone with whom financial gain is possible. Can't be anybody who, upon hearing your gratitude, will suddenly change their feelings about you. It has to be true and free of any form of Machiavellian manipulation. You write 300 words demonstrating to them how they've changed your life. You set a date in person, via Zoom, print it up on nice paper. You read it. One or both of you is gonna cry, and both of you will probably feel good for 2 weeks, according to the research. This is a validated intervention. It's also what I call the anti-eulogy. You say it to them while they are alive. Don't be that guy who's up at the, wish I'd said it. This is an insurance policy. Approach versus avoid goals. Notice your language. I don't want to miss quota this year versus I want to make quota this year. That, as simple as that sounds. I don't want to choke. I can promise you that the Warriors, the 49ers quarterback is not thinking to himself, no interceptions, he's thinking connect. Approach goals are the positive language, using the target that you're going for rather than the anti-target. Think about the target. Don't think about the anti-target. First of all, you're more likely to hit the target. Second of all, you're more likely to have fun hitting the target. Fuzzy friends. I believe Carol Novello may have been here. She's a friend of mine. She's amazing, former Humane Society president. Wrote a book called Mutual Rescue, how the pets we rescue may rescue us instead, or at the same time. If you're pet people, this is not for my father who could go 5 lifetimes without touching a dog, but for someone like me who can't go through a day without touching my dog, our endogenous feel-good chemicals like serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin will actually increase. Our recovery times after surgery will decrease. We're more likely to be more pro-social, and we're actually more likely to meet cool people in our neighborhood if we have a dog. But fuzzy friends really make a big difference. Awe is a really interesting researched phenomenon. Have you ever had that experience of wow? Just wow. Remember that double rainbow guy who was being clowned on several years ago? Yeah, people love laughing at him, but he was experiencing awe, and I actually thought he was great. I'm like, yeah, bring it, dude. You're experiencing awe. Awe is like gratitude on steroids. The more awe you can experience, go to San Jose Opera. Here I am pitching it. I have no affiliation with it, but you can go to the Redwoods, go to the ocean, notice something really touching in a TV show, experience awe, allow yourself to override that tendency to not feel it. Flow is also one of the best things that we can do, and I'm almost there, Karen, I swear to you. Flow is the byproduct of meaning and challenge. Have you ever done something for 3 hours and felt like it was only 30 minutes? You were immersed in flow. The more flow activities you have in your life, the better you will feel. Last but not least is savoring. That is, I'm sure you've been to a great restaurant where you're eating something awesome and seen the person next to you eating the same thing, and you're just like, gosh, you're on their mobile phone, and so is your partner, while you're shoveling this Michelin-rated food into your mouth. What's going on here? Savor it. 10% of millennials actually text during sex. This is a problem. So here's non-savoring. Here's a guy, he's sitting on a beach with his wife. Clearly, he spent a lot for that vacation. And he can't stop thinking about the parking he could have had if he'd only been still in town. So last but not least, only 15 seconds, a master. His name is Winnie the Pooh. He looks forward to honey. When you're looking forward to something, you have more dopamine than when you actually receive it. But when he's in it, he's not texting. And afterwards, he remembers the honey. I want you to experience happiness thrice. Thank you.
That was awesome. You're going to take questions, right? That was absolutely incredible. Is this on? Okay. That was absolutely outstanding, and quite simply, my very favorite presentation we've had. My motto this year has always been, your brain believes what you tell it. Be careful of the narrative you weave. I scored a 33% on the happiness scale, so this is a great day. All right, who's got questions for our speaker? I've got a question.
I'm all yours.
I want to talk about cognitive dissonance for a moment. Cognitive dissonance is psychological tension when your actions and your thoughts don't match. Tell us more about fake it till you make it, that concept you mentioned.
First off, cognitive dissonance is a really fascinating thing. Try this at home with somebody. Say something that's positively not true and try to exert your maximum strength. Say, you know, I am a Lakers fan if you're a Warriors fan. And you will not be as strong as you would be in a baseline of I am a Warriors fan. Cognitive dissonance is like walking around with like a rock in your shoe all day. Many of us do fake it till we make it. Now, we can use it for good or for bad. It's bad, obviously, if we are living a false life and not being authentic. It is good if we know that certain activities, like I'm not a morning person, but I want to become a morning person. And so I'm trying to hack into this. So I fake it till I become it. I set my alarm, I get my butt out of bed. Mel Robbins with the 5-second rule. I allow myself less than 5 seconds to get out of bed, out the door. Photons, suprachiasmatic nucleus is the part of the brain that is hit when I see those photons, and suddenly I become a morning person over suddenly, meaning 30 to 90 days.
That was an outstanding response. Yes, Matt.
Jan? Oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you for being here today. Great topic. You know, by many accounts, in this nation and maybe even globally, we're experiencing a mental health crisis, especially among our young people. I don't know if I really have a question, but could you just maybe comment on it and maybe talk about how some of your strategies here could actually impact that?
Sure. So I'm so glad you asked that, Matt. The fact of the matter is we are in a mental health crisis. There are many possible smoking guns, social comparison, a host of other things going on, bullying on the rise, cyberbullying, and others. What positive psychological interventions do is they increase resiliency. And by just engaging one or two of these things to help override the negativity bias, to increase optimism, to increase agency, which is the idea that I can handle what will come my way. Agency is a really important notion within the psych literature. It's the idea that it's not fake it till you make it. It's actually, well, I actually prepared for this. I actually did this presentation 3 times for my wife, a fellow psychologist, to make sure that it was under 20 minutes. And
19 and a half.
and that she, in her very tired state, was still interested in what I was saying. So agency is the byproduct of actually preparation. So actually inculcating these into your family, talking about a rose, a bud, and a thorn. Positive psychology does not mean ignoring the bad. I just dropped my son off at college. I've been crying all day, every day, listening to Free Bird by Leonard Skinner. It's just really powerful. He's as free as a bird now. Anyway, it's just insane. But a rose and a bud and a thorn is a really nice way of increasing the quality of conversations at the dinner table. Rose, something good that happened today. Bud, something I learned today. Remember neuroplasticity and neurogenesis? Thorn, something that hurt today.
Fantastic. All right. We're going to go here next, and then I'll come to you next. Go ahead,
Well,
Mark.
I'm going to follow up on that question and connect us to Adam. So, and our birthday. So, I'm a professor. There are many here who are teachers. Following on Matt's question, how can we as people in the classroom engage with young people in ways, because they are often extremely anxious, extremely disconnected. So what can we do as a practice that would address?
One of the great blessings you can give, I love that question. We can all give blessings, we can all give curses to everyone. We give curses to someone when we don't see them for who they are. Let's say my son is really into arts and crafts and I want him to be a basketball player. I curse him when I say to him, you ought to be a basketball player, when he really wants to be in arts and crafts. If I bless him, I say, let's lean into that arts and crafts. Let's make you more of who you are. And one of the best things an educator can do is recognize the orchestra of strengths. There's a percussion section over here, a string section over here, and a brass section over there. They need to know who they are and what they're into and lean into that. And they may actually transition. They may be like, yeah, I dug being a horn player. I want to get into the strings. And that's fantastic. But allow them to realize that, to your point, beneficial to all concerned. Love that. That is consistent with the literature. No diminishment. It's not first violinist versus third violinist. It's, wow, you're both playing the violin, and it's not that the violin is any more important than the triangle. The triangle person has to wait patiently and really isolate the virtues of each of the people without inflating them, making them more than what they are, because that is what we call BS. And I'm not talking about belief systems, I'm talking about the other one. And what we want to do is actually identify what the strengths are.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Near. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay. I would like to know what your perspective on yoga and meditation.
It's fantastic. So recently, Bessel van der Kolk, who's one of the leading researchers on trauma, has found that the body keeps the score, and one of the validated pursuits for reducing trauma is attending to the body, particularly through yoga, particularly through acting, dance, and other body-related activities. Yoga is showing great promise, and many of the yogic traditions, the Vedic traditions, which have been around for thousands of years, the wisdom is being corroborated by the research. It's been said that self-compassion, for example, which is also advocated by yoga and yogic traditions, is so powerful that if you have any friend who's in graduate school right now who wants to get publishable results, try to correlate self-compassion with some other physical or mental positive outcome, and you will probably have publishable results. I would say the same probably about yoga. You will probably have better physical and psychological results just based on yoga itself. We're just seeing the beginning.
Outstanding. Fernando.
Thank you. If the pursuit of happiness is encapsulated in our Constitution, why are we not teaching this presentation that you've just given us in the same way that we have yoga presented to us?
Agreed. Fortunately, it is making its way into some curricula, not all. It takes time. There are big, big ships, and it's sometimes to right a ship, it takes many years, and unfortunately, certain generations are lost along the way. It would be people like you to bring forth the recognition that this is valid. I know that Seligman out of the University of Pennsylvania has been trying to bake it into various places where it might not be seen previously, but if you have a leadership role, any of you, talk about this, talk about strengths, talk about the non-diminishing aspects of recognizing your strengths. I might be really strong interpersonally, someone else might be really strong with regard to research, and these are very different strengths. Neither one is better than the other. We need neurodiversity for teams, and I, Fernando, am all on board with what you're saying.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. We have 1 minute left, so one fast question, one fast answer, please.
Is there literature on whether different religions are happier, different cultures, the Eastern cultures versus Christian versus Jewish, Hindu, Buddhism?
Yeah, I'm allowed to say this because I'm of the faith. You know, we say we have 3 Jews and 4 opinions. But come on, anybody? That's a good one. But yes, there are blue zones that have been identified by Butler. It seems that the biggest thing is having common purpose and community. Shocker, what you are all doing right now. And having communities that don't shame, but instead foster people to become who they are. So if you're in a shame-based culture, shame, by the way, is very different from guilt. Shame is, I feel bad about who I am. Guilt is, I feel bad for what I did. If I feel bad for what I did, I'm more likely to say, Steve, dude, I'm so sorry I tripped you earlier today. I feel so bad. But if I feel shame, ooh, I'm more likely to just kind of ruminate it and marinate it in it. And cultures that do that, that really aspire to, or maybe by default, have more shame, less happiness.
Wow. Please join me in thanking Dr. Adam. That was just great. Really great. Oh, we got to take a quick picture. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to start teaching some of those concepts in our Leadership Academy, Pat, so stand by. Next week, our speaker is Sheriff Robert Johnson, speaking on his first 100 days in office, so that should be exciting. And Dr. Adam, we've made a donation to Loaves and Fishes in your honor for today's presentation, so way to go. Not a moon pin, but a very good donation. A couple of final thoughts. To our Jewish members, I wish you an easy fast on Yom Kippur, and be happy for this moment. This moment is your life. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next week. Have a great day.